what I usually do is I read my SP declare until people come on.
Well, all right. Well, I'd be happy to listen to that.
But I've already done it. I've already read the whole thing. It's not that exciting.
Well, we can just say hi. You know, I imagine I'll be able to see folks pop in here as well.
You will. So, first of all, I'll just start a little bit about saying how do you, because nobody's here, so we'll wait a minute till a few people come, and then I'll tell a little bit, and then you tell a little bit.
All right, Magooski.
And then you explain to me now, why do people always go, oh, I'm so sorry I missed the live stream. Hey, love it. Hi, there we are, the Wise Beard Man and Magoo. Hi, Cheryl. All right. Can you see him, Marky, on yours?
No, well, I can stream to my audience. How about that?
It's Dennis, Salty Rider, City of Angels. Hi. TEMMC. Hello. Hi, Kelly. Hey, she says, hi, Mark. Hi, Mods. Hi, chat.
Hi.
Yeah. Everybody's very friendly here. It is a good chat. Hi, Teresa. Okay, so we're going to start, right? Should we start?
Okay. Go ahead and start. I'm still typing a title for this stream on my side. So forgive me, everybody, for slowing this down.
What is your title going to be?
You know, I'm not doing anything creative here. Mark and
Bunker and Magoo Part 2. It rhymes. Hi, Dee Dee. Hi, Love It. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Dennis. Mark is still in Clearwater, yes. He's typing something, so I'll answer for him until he answers. Gypsy Lisa. Anyway, we decided let's do another part, part 2, because we did a part 1. Hi, Dawn. Thanks for coming by, all of you. I really appreciate it. And so does Mark. Right?
Yes, absolutely. Hi. Okay, now I'm here.
Okay, now I see some. What are I don't know what the things are at the top.
All right, now I can see the comments. So, hello to everybody. Gypsy, Lisa, Dawn.
Hi, Sophie. Sophie's from New Zealand. She's one of my moderators, and so is Love It. So thank you both for moderating. And Mark and I have done a ton of videos. I don't know how many most of these people have seen. I really don't know. So
probably all of them.
Probably a lot of them. So I'm going to start with just a brief summary in case someone is new here. Hi, Rodney Andrews.
Hey, Rodney.
I got in Scientology in 1969, left college, hitchhiked across the country, and joined Scientology. Was in it for 30 years, which sounds like a long time, and it was, but I woke up in the end. And I have a whole escape story because so many people ask me the same question over and over. So I finally made a 10-part series in 2010 with my escape. And so if you really want to know, how did I get in? What did I do while I was in? How did I wake up? How did I escape? The whole thing about it, it's just type in Tori Magoo 44 + escape. And the whole series comes up, and there you go. And it's not Troy, it's Tori. Just so you know, I'm always having to correct my name. All my life. It's so funny. I was always Terry, Lori, Corey, Tony. Even on the injunction, I'm Tony Pizazian.
What?
Did you know that? Yeah, on the injunction.
No.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yep, Tony. That's because I was always called other things than Tori until Tori Spelling came out. And that night I said, my name's Tori. And someone said, hi, Tori. What?
Oh, no, I'm kicking myself because I was going to have some images ready on my stream, but then we went with your stream. So I need to, I'm getting them. So that's what I'm doing right now.
No, if you have them, we can end off. Do you want to end off and then you can do them on your stream?
No, I'll still be able to show them here. I just didn't get them set up prior to us going live because that's the type of professional I am.
I know, that's the professional you are. I know. So anyway, I was in it for 30 years, woke up, escaped out. I didn't know they chased people across the country. The critics had told me, hey, where'd Bunky go? Mark, you left. I hope he comes back. Uh-oh, he left. Bunky, I'm going to call him. That's the advantage of having one of these phones that you guys all laugh at me about. Because I can call him, see? Hi, 49ers for life. Ooh, you're watching the NFL. Oh, my God. I grew up with the NFL. You know, my dad was in the AFL before the NFL. But he watched it all the time, and my husband, too, and my son. Alums Shepeth. All right. We lost our national treasure, which was what? LOL landline. I know, it's a landline, but now he's not answering, of course. What the hell happened to you? Okay, you're back.
I'm backstage, so let me...
No, you're not backstage. Now you're on. So I'll hang up with you here.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Now you are on.
So I just discovered now that
What?
going to my Gmail to find the images of you that I was planning to show kicked me out of StreamYard. So I won't do that again.
Oh, interesting.
So
Yeah.
a learning process.
Yes. Well, you and I have always been a learning process. With me mostly learning, you mostly teaching. But anyway, but I've taught you something about Scientology. I did.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. You have taught a lot of people about Scientology.
I have. I've worked on it. You know, it's like, I remember when you first started, you know, being a critic. That's what I wanted you to tell these guys. But anyway, so I met Mark July 4th, right? Was that when we first met?
Yes, I think so.
Where those guys came out and said, who have you murdered and all that stuff, right?
Oh, yes, back in 99, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I was in the church, and Osa said to me, look, there was a British guy next to me. And they said, just go with this guy and talk to that guy, Mark Bunker, and just see if you can get him to go away. We're having a party. We don't want people filming it. And he had one of those big, what do you call those cameras?
Oh, it's a camera.
Yeah, I know, but camera. These guys don't even know what that is. But, it's a big one of those.
It was a professional video camera. Yeah. It wasn't like a little handy cam.
Yeah. Tori made me a Scientology expert. Yes, I like that. All right. Okay, so anyway, I met Mark. They said, go talk to that guy. So I went over to talk to you, and I was being, I think, Katie, right? Or I forget what, Margaret. That was it.
Margaret.
Margaret. He was something, and I was like, my name's Margaret. And, why are you here? And why don't you leave? Basically. But then he'd say something and I'd get ticked off and I'd go back to my regular voice. And that's on video, right? Isn't it online?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I have that up on YouTube.
I know. That's a famous video, especially because of those guys. They were so crazy.
Well, the three guys who were doing the gangbang sec check on me. What are your crimes, Mark? Yeah, that is pretty famous. The Margaret video was done separately, and I think I played it for the first time when we were doing a segment of a series I was going to do in Clearwater called Occupied Clearwater.
Oh.
And Tori, you and I just filmed like little introductions to that video. We showed dancing in Boston, and then we showed how we first met.
Oh yeah.
And the idea for this was I was going to do a local public access show. Remember those days when you would maybe reach 10 people by doing something in a lousy studio. And now you can reach millions by just sitting in your own home doing it.
Yeah.
So I never actually got it on the air, but I'll tell you a fascinating story about it later. But yeah, okay. I had to go through a I don't know if it was like a 10-week system where you had to take courses in putting together a show, and
Now, this was for,
I'd already.
this was for what?
In Clearwater, it was just a local public access channel from the cable company.
And you were working there?
I wasn't working there. This was something that anyone who lived in Clearwater could take advantage of. You could do a show on whatever you wanted.
Oh, that's right. Public assets. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they'd give you like a half an hour a week or an hour a week, and you can come to the studio and shoot it live with guests if you want. I was going to videotape and pre-edit a half-hour weekly show based on my material.
That's
and it
good.
turned out that it was a nice plan, but they said, it has to be Clearwater based. So like Dancing in Boston, no, we don't want to play that. Stuff that happened in LA with them picking in my home, no, we can't play that. It's got to be Clearwater related. Wow. So, it never got off the ground. But, the interesting thing was, at our first meeting for all the prospective producers wanting to do shows there, we all had to introduce ourselves and tell something about, what we were focused on and what the show was going to be about.
Right.
And, so it eventually got around to me, and I explained, well, I'm going to be doing a show that takes a critical look at Scientology.
Ooh, thank you, Ron.
Yeah, Ron, that's awfully nice of you.
Very generous.
By the way, I'm thrilled that we got Tori monetized.
I know. Praise the Lord.
And I've started to go back and monetize some of your videos now. I've got about 230 of them done, but you have, I don't know how many thousands of them that you've already done.
I think I've done over 1,000 now. That's what somebody told me the other night. I only knew of 900, but I guess it's up to 1,000.
Yeah. So that's a great. Yeah, you can go back right to the very beginning and monetize them. You just have to do it individually for every single video to say that no, there's nothing objectionable, there's no cursing, there's no violence, there's nothing. Although they do have an automated bot at YouTube that kind of goes through the material to see if there are things that are not permitted, like copyrighted material.
Right.
And somehow they have a way to decide that something is too I don't know, upsetting for potential viewers. So I'm seeing there are a few of your videos that say, no, this one can't be monetized. And I don't know why, but not a big deal. But I think sometimes it's just because Scientology complains about a specific video and they go, okay.
Right.
But they're not taking you off YouTube, which is a good thing. So anyway, back to our introductions at the public access station. So I'm telling people this is going to be a critical look at Scientology. And of course, they were not thrilled to hear that. The people at the public access station didn't want the hassle.
No.
But of course, it would be the most well-watched show on the Access channel if it had been allowed.
Nobody wants to admit it.
So, but the really great thing was, the next week I came back. This is week 2, and there were 2 people, man and a woman, and they came up to me. Oh, actually, they came up to me at the end of the first meeting as we were leaving. They said, "We're Scientologists, and we don't like what you're doing." So, well, I understand that, and hopefully we can be friends and get to know one another. And they split. So the next week, for when I came back for the meeting, I had with me in the car. I didn't bring it in because I didn't want to be a jerk and throw stuff in their face. But I had in my car the complete printout of all the Operation Snow White court case files.
Right.
So they could read everything that Scientology had admitted that, yes, we were guilty of this, or page
do
after
a
page.
brief summary of Operation Snow White for anybody who doesn't know that.
Well, this was the attack on the U.S. government that sent Mary Sue Hubbard and 10 other top Scientology officials to prison because they were systematically, they were systematically, they were having people get jobs in government agencies and like the IRS. And every night they'd be Xeroxing information to send back to Scientology. And this went on for 2 years before one person was caught. I think that was Michael Meisner, right? I'm old, so my memory for names is not what it once was. But I think it was Meisner who got caught in the middle of the night, and that started unraveling this entire thing. And he eventually, after being kidnapped by Scientologists and held against his will in LA, so he couldn't go to the FBI, he finally escaped and went to the FBI and admitted everything that had been going on and helped put all these folks in jail. It's a fascinating story if you haven't delved into the entire thing.
So many
I
big
highly recommend it.
Yeah.
So many what?
So many big backstories like that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Paul and Cooper, and just things that they're not front out here for these guys, but they're really amazing if you dive into them.
It's stunning. This was the biggest espionage case against the U.S. government at that time. Shocking stuff, and it should have shut down Scientology for good. Unfortunately, it didn't.
And it's
amazing how they. Go ahead.
Just a side note on that is this shows how brainwashed we were who were in. Nancy Mamie, when I finally escaped out in 2000, she called me and we talked about it. And she said, Tori, it wasn't Xerox paper. And I said, really? And that's what we were told for years. Oh, they were just in there stealing stupid papers and stuff. It was
they were stealing Xerox paper was the cover story. What?
I know.
It's not the paper; it's what they put on it that's important. Really astonishing stuff. So anyway, I had this in the car, and when they came up to me at the end of the meeting, they said, "We have something we want you to read," which was a DA pack on me and everyone who works at the Lisa McPherson Trust at that point.
Right.
I said, "Oh, okay, I'll be happy to read. I'll be happy to read this," and went to my car and gave them the Operation Snow White material. And I said, I'll read your stuff. I would like you to read this. And they said, no, we're not going to read that. Yeah. I said, well, with all respect, why is it that I can read anything that you want me to read, but you can't read anything that I suggest you read?
Right.
Why is that?
What
just well, of course they just
we can read anything. We just don't want to.
Yeah, they don't want to. Yeah, but it's one of those things that's just so crazy.
Now look this is one of the comments. Look at this. I just want to show you this. This is kind of amazing. I was in the Sea Org during Snow White. They checked me until I was literally sick. They wanted me to prove I wasn't CIA or FBI. That was a big thing for them, and now they say I am CIA. Did you know that?
Well, you are. Well, but I know. I've seen your secret badge. I know what you're up to. Yeah, and your little CIA hat.
Right. Let's get it straight.
Yeah. You're not fooling anyone.
I was amazed when that guy told me that. That was last Christmas. The guy told me that. And he was a wrestler, and he really looked white. I said, "What did they say to you?" Because I said, "Look, they really hate me and they lie. So, just be careful." And he came out and he was like white. And I said, I called him the next day and I said, "Did you give him the money?" Because in the old days, if they didn't get the money at the org, they would drive out to the person's house and get it. There's no way $5,000 would be like, "Oh, we'll just blow it off." No way.
Yeah.
It was like $5,000. We're out to their house and they'd get it. And he said, "No, they didn't come, and I'm going to Japan, so that's that." I said, "Okay, good." So I thought, okay, no problem. Then I said, "What did they say to you about me?" Thinking they're going to say I had the affair, or all these things that they made up that are lies. And he said, "No, they said you're undercover, deep cover, top secret CIA agent." I thought, well, that's an upgrade from SP. We both laughed. He laughed and I laughed.
Well, back in LA in '99, I, of course, was just paid by the pharmaceutical industry for my work against Scientology. But once I moved to LA, I discovered to Clearwater, worked for the Lisa McPherson Trust. I discovered that everyone I was working with was an off-planet person. I mean,
an off-planet?
Yeah, they were Marcabians, Bob and Stacy and all these folks.
Oh.
If I'd known that they were Marcabians trying to enslave the planet, I never would have taken a job there.
Now, how did you get from Wisconsin to LMT?
Well, there was an interval there for some time. I grew up in the mythical land of Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Which Oshkosh is a lovely place. It's got a bubbler.
This time of the year, it's the best. Don't you think?
Don't I think what?
This time of the year with fall, Wisconsin is the best. We used to drive up there just to see the leaves and the trees and everything.
Yeah, it's nice. I've been away from it for so long, I barely remember fall there. I did spend a year in New Hampshire, and fall there was spectacular.
Yeah.
From Wisconsin, I moved out to LA to become a world famous actor, and you all know how well that turned out. And I spent what? What?
There's another super sticker, so I said thank you to her.
Oh, it's very nice of you.
Okay, so go on.
So I spent 15 years in LA, working in front of and behind the camera, did a lot of voiceovers and cartoons and commercials, stuff like that, and a lot of stage work. And then I had the chance to come to Clearwater when Bob Minton, who was the retired international banker who financed the Lisa McPherson Trust and spent $10 million of his own money trying to help people who've been abused by Scientology.
And you met him online?
I met him online a year earlier when he and Stacy made a post on Alt Religion Scientology, the news group, saying that he and Stacy were now on the board of FactNet, which was an early website.
It was know what FactNet is, so maybe tell them a little briefly.
FactNet was the first major website that stored all of Scientology's upper level materials and things like that. Yeah. It was a cult awareness type of site. And they got sued by Scientology, and 3 of their members' homes were raided, including Arnie Lerma, Bob Kenny, who I don't think I ever met, and
Dennis Ehrlich.
And Dennis Ehrlich, who actually lived about 10 blocks away from me when this raid happened. And I remember reading something about it in the local newspaper before I ever got involved in any of this stuff.
They sent me to Dennis Ehrlich's house.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, to get the OT levels. Yeah. I said, like, he's just going to walk to the door and hand them to me? Are you kidding? He never even answered the door. I was like,
well, did you ever watch the video that I put online from Dennis?
I don't think so. I've seen Arnie's. I don't think I've seen Dennis's.
Well, so if folks haven't seen it yet, it's on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
And it was shot by the local Fox TV affiliate.
Wow.
During the Scientology coming to his home and raiding the place, and taking all of his. Happened? Yeah, Dennis called somebody to say, we've got Scientology here, and they're coming into my home, and they're taking everything. And whoever he talked to then called the media. And
I think I did see that. I think I did years ago. Yeah.
So they came over and they were shooting this entire encounter,
right,
where the Scientology attorneys, along with police officials or sheriff or whatever, go rampaging through the house, taking anything that they wanted. And Dennis, of course, was going ballistic, but putting up a fight. But it's fascinating video. And then when I eventually met him a little bit later, he actually invited me over and gave me a copy of that video, which I put online. And I've kept it online ever since, continuing to improve the quality of the video every chance possible. Good. So it's not just a little tiny square that it was back in 1999. So, and I'm off on a tangent. I'm not sure exactly what we were talking about before that. But.
I asked you how you got from Oshkosh, Wisconsin to LMT.
FactNet, yeah. FactNet, Bob taking over FactNet. When he made the announcement on ARS, I sent them an email saying to Bob and Stacy, saying that, hey, I do video work. I'm a video editor, and I've been capturing video for Scientology-related stuff and putting it on the internet. If there's anything I can do to help you, I'd be happy to. And they called me instantly. I mean, and they said, we want you to come out to Vermont at that point, I think it was. There was a cult conference the following week, the weekend, and they got me a ticket and flew me out there. And that's the first time I met them. And Bob had a nice little handy cam that he put in my hands, and he allowed me to run around and videotape everything, which was fascinating. Yeah. So I got to meet all these critics who I had been aware of from just reading their exchanges on alt religion Scientology, and it was a great weekend. I really enjoyed it, and went home and then edited that event, and recently upscaled that for YouTube. So if you haven't seen it,
for doing that, you've really helped so many people with your videos. You really have. I know you don't take appreciation much, but it's the truth. Look at you. You roll your eyes, but it's the truth. Here's a question for you. All right. Can you talk about when you first met Tori? This is my moderator asking it, Sophie. When she was in and then joined you on the other side.
Sure. Well, Tori brought up Margaret. That's when I first met Tori. And I thought the other fellow who was with you was your husband at that point. Because the two of you looked like such a fine couple.
Yeah. But you have to admit, Harold was pretty cute too.
Yeah, I liked Harold. So we encountered one another at different events, and I shot some footage of pickets, and you'd be there, and I always liked you.
We liked you too. We did.
Yeah.
It was weird because we didn't like most of the other people, but we liked you.
Well, I'm adorable. That's why I'm a national treasure.
It's true. You're wise beers band. That's it.
Not everybody can be beloved like me.
That's right.
So anyway, Tori Tori, I thought, was a delightful person. I liked her husband. Harold was seemed like a nice guy. He had a nice sense of humor, and we lost touch after I moved to Clearwater. But I remember the day when Tori, when Stacy rather, came back to my office there at the LMT, where I was editing video, and said, "You've got a woman on the phone who says she knows you," and I came on the phone to talk to you, and I heard your voice, and I went, you, I love you, and the reason I was so astonished, not just the fact that I was delighted that you were leaving Scientology,
Right.
but we had been in a war online on the Battlefield Earth message board on Warner Brothers when the movie came out.
Right. That's right. The
Yeah,
message. And tell them what a message board is, because they might not know.
Sure. Every movie at that point had a forum on the movie studio's website where you could talk about the film and be excited about it. And, oh boy, isn't this a great movie? And that's exactly what I found when I went to the Battlefield Earth message board. The rest of the world was calling it the worst film ever made. And here was a hardcore, small, tiny group of people who were saying things like, "I just saw it for the third time today, and I'm going back tomorrow with the kids." And I think that was Magoo who actually.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't you?
No, because we hated it from the first time we saw it. We said, why didn't they show it to us first? Because it was just
but
bad.
you were pretending. The Scientologists on there were pretending that you loved it.
Okay, but I don't think I went 3 times. I don't think I said that ever, because I don't
know. I assume it's like Trump. You don't really believe anything you say when you're saying it when you're in Scientology.
Well, that's
but
not
anyway,
the big thing was that, because some people that's true, but it wasn't true for me. Most of the stuff that I said, I believed in, most of it. But the thing about you was you were Xenu TV.
Mm-hmm.
And Xenu back then was a big secret word. Nobody knew it except the people in Scientology in the triangle who'd worked their way all the way up to OT3, which is way up in the top triangle. All the rest, Sea Org, everybody else, public, they never heard the word. So now there you are with xenutv.net. And I was like, I got to get rid of this guy. And so that was my goal, was to try to get rid of you.
And we've talked about this before, I'm sure, but I always love talking about it because it was such a fun time. I had gotten a copy of the movie script from a reporter at one of the major papers before the film came out. And I wrote a scathing review of the script.
Sure.
And I put that online on Alt Religion Scientology. And shortly after I did that, a glowing review showed up for the script. Somebody who thought it was just a masterpiece.
Not by me, because I never wrote on Alt Religion Scientology.
No, it wasn't you. It was some guy who was claiming to just be a fan. And since he put his name to the article, I did a search at that point. It was pre-Google, but even then online you could get some answers to things. And I discovered that this guy who wrote the glowing review was a science fiction wannabe writer.
Yeah.
Who had a bio on a website that said he's written short stories, this, that, and the other thing. And he finished it by saying, and this year I'm being paid to do promotion for Battlefield Earth. So I went onto the message board and showed that link and said, oh, so the guy who loves the movie is being paid to promote it. No wonder he loves it. And that would infuriate folks who were in Scientology on the board. But that was fun. There are always things like that I could uncover.
And my thing, because I wanted to get rid of Xenu publicly, because that's part of the OT7 responsibility. You just can't, you have to handle all that stuff. And so I was like, all right, I got to handle this. And I didn't know anything about the internet, but I knew you kept coming on as Xenu TV. So I kept trying to get rid of you. That wasn't working. So I finally called Warner Brothers. And I don't think these guys know this, so that's why I'm telling it. I know you know it, but I called Warner Brothers and I said, look, I'm a fan. I'm a mom. I live here in Burbank. And, you have a thing on John Travolta's site. And remember, I helped train John Travolta. And so it was sort of like, I like him. And I didn't like that all this shit was coming up about Scientology. I mean, I really didn't. And I was like, this has nothing to do with your movie. And because I'm in sales, I know how to go up to the top guy. And I kept getting the different people. I'd say, all right, who's your senior? Who's your senior? I got to the top guy and I made my complaint. And I said, I want you to report to the top guy that this is ridiculous. This is all about Scientology. It has nothing to do with Battlefield Earth. He said, okay, I will. And I thought that's it. Nothing else will happen. And the next day, the phone rings and Harold goes, it's for you. And I go, hello? And the guy goes, this is Mr. So-and-so from New York, Time Warner. And we got your message about the message board for Battlefield Earth, and we're taking it down today. And I was like, wow, that was intense.
Yeah. But, I got to say, it was probably easier to take down that message board because the film was so despised. Yeah. And I'm sure they were going, we don't need this headache. Let's just take it down.
Take it down.
Who's going to really care?
I don't know if I would have gotten
a win.
What?
No, it was a win for him. But I'm sure in a way it was a win for Warner Brothers too.
Yeah, it was a win for everybody, but it was mostly a win for me because I missed all you guys. Once you were gone, I was like, wait a minute. These guys are like the cowboys in the old cowboy movies where they'd ride into town and they could say what they want, do what they want. Nobody was ordering them around. And I was at the top of the bridge to total freedom. And they were ordering us on everything. You have to stand up. If a scavenge comes in, salute, all this shit. You can't read these books. Don't talk to bunker, that. And I was just like so sick of that. And then they'd thrown me under the bus. So I was just like done with them. But I missed you guys. And I thought, now, wait a minute. I think they're over on that alt-religion Scientology, which I didn't know was a gigantic news group. I just thought it was like, there were only 50 people on the message board. So I thought, well, alt-religion Scientology is probably 75. So I thought, well, if I got the 50 shut down, maybe I can get alt-religion Scientology shut down. So that's what was my that's why I went on it. And I made 4,000 posts in 2 weeks. And I met Andreas, who was one of the cowboys, and he did help me. So it worked. So now you have to answer her question, though, because she said, what did you think of Tori when she first got out? You didn't say that.
Well, as I said, I really loved you. And that's why, in our conversation when you called to the LMT for the first time and I heard your voice, and it was then that I discovered it was you on the message board calling me Fat TV instead of Xenu TV. And I was not offended at any point. When people want to be silly and call names, that never bothered me, and I thought it was entertaining actually just to see Scientologists getting so upset that the only thing they could strike back with is, "Oh, shut up, Fat TV." What do you know, Fat TV?
I was hoping they'd change your name to that, and then it wouldn't be Xenu.
Oh yeah,
didn't work. Didn't work at all.
Solid plan, though. Solid. Give you credit for that. So anyway, there hasn't been a moment where I have not loved Tori from the moment.
I know, and same here. We're dear friends, and luckily I met you, and then we became fast friends. It was really an amazing thing. It really was. That whole, escape, and I didn't, like I say to the kids now, I left LAX as a Scientologist. By the time I got to Clearwater, I was an activist in that one night. And that's because of Scientology. That's not because of me or you or anybody else. It's because of what Scientology did to me from LAX to Tampa. You know, with Harold in the middle.
Take all credit. I would take all credit, but okay.
What'd you say?
I was going to take all credit for it, but if it was Scientology that did it, okay, fine.
I just want to remind them they're always creating their own enemies. I told them that when I was in. And they, excuse me, they do to this day. Now, wait, I have to start showing these because there's 20 starred things. Here's the first one we saw. This is from Ron. He's been following both of us for 10 years. And that's good that you caught us. Thank you so much. Now, this is Unstoppable SP. Hi, Tori and Mark. It's a pleasure to see them together live. I know it is. It's kind of fun. This is our second one, right? Hi, Tori. Hi, Mark. Thanks for allowing us for the entertainment and stories. Very cute. Very cute. All right. Now, this is 49ers for Life. I hope Mark releases the public access with Mary DeMoss and the German Scientologist. What is that about?
Oh, I think she's talking about a day when there were protests from a lot of folks, including Mary DeMoss. Hans Beschor is the German that they're referencing. And this was a period right when Ursula Kerberta, a German government official, came to Clearwater for the first time and held a little press conference. There was a scandal of Scientologists who actually operated a car rental place just 2 doors down from the Lisa McPherson Trust. There was some scandal that was uncovered and put into a German magazine. This woman who, this woman who was living in Clearwater and running this car rental place, she said that she had to flee Germany because of the oppression she was facing from Scientology, and it was impossible for her to make a living in Germany because Scientology was so despised
and
by
she
the
was
German
the German
government.
Scientologist with Mary DeMoss.
So she wasn't really. I don't know that she was connected with Mary DeMoss per se, but that woman who actually told the American U.S. government that was the reason she was coming here to escape oppression from the German government. The German government in this article saying, no, we didn't do anything. So Ursula came over and did a little press conference on that, and that pissed off the Scientologists like nothing else before.
That was the night I left. You know that?
Yeah, I do, because they were finding, Bob and Stacy were finding a hotel. Wait a minute. I was doing a hotel room. I think they were with you.
They got the hotel.
They were with you, and they had booked a hotel room for Ursula, and I drove her over to the hotel, and Scientology had canceled that booking, so there was no room for her when we got there, like midnight.
Oh man!
And she was not happy about this, and since she had, flown overseas to this and was exhausted. And then, I got Bob and Stacy on the line, and they called around and they got a good room for her, and I got her over there by 2 or 3 in the morning, I think. But that was all happening at the same time that you had flown into Clearwater.
The same night. Yeah, but they didn't tell me she was flying in because she was smart enough to know it would be too much for me. with Stacy, Bob, and Jesse and Ursula is just too much. She
But
told me that.
The Scientologist had been laying in wait at the airport. The PR guy for Scientology, Al Butner, had gathered together dozens and dozens of Scientologists who were all milling around in the lounge area where the flight was coming in. And as soon as she stepped off the plane and into the terminal, they came screaming at her, "Nazi criminal, go back to Germany." That was Dr. Ian Shillington who said that. And kind of chased her through the airport. So that was a nice welcome. And then, from that, she has her hotel room canceled. But that was just the start of the Scientologists being upset with Ursula being there. And so they started doing protests of the LMT. And on this particular day, this is what I called the "Where Are the Crimes" protest.
Wait. You lost your sound.
I did. Hello.
I mean, I can hear you, but it was gurgly for a minute. Now you're okay.
It's just my voice. I think my voice is gurgly.
Have some water.
Diet Pepsi. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So,
is someone there with you?
No.
Tell the truth.
No one is here, for heaven's sakes.
Okay, what did you just think of?
Well, I was feeling a little.
Is that whiskey?
No, it was. It's a Biden Harris mug, and I know people don't like politics on these. My Harris mug hasn't arrived yet.
Slipping it in.
Yeah, it's subliminal.
That's all right. That's good.
So this picket was all about our crimes. Everybody at the LMT had Scientologists handling us, asking what our crimes were. And Dr. Ian Shillington, I think that was the first time I met him there. He was a jerk. Hans Bishor was a German who lived in Clearwater there, and he actually came into the LMT right before that, like a day or two before that protest. And he came in and wanted to do an interview with me in my office. And I said, he was going to audio tape it. I said, sure. I answered questions with him, talked with him on tape. And as we were doing that, Jesse Prince came in the room and was shocked and said, no, this stops now. And kicked Hans out of there.
Why was he shocked?
Well, because I was stupid enough to let them audio tape me without any backup. As Jesse said after that, I explained, I'm not saying anything that I wouldn't say on the radio, or, but they can go back and they can edit that tape to make you look horrible. And sure. Yeah, you're right. So anyway, I wrote up that incident about what happened when Hans came in.
Right.
And then Hans, in this protest the next day, that's in the video, he says, I read what you wrote and it was not like that. No, it was not. So that was just another one of my crimes. So
what happened to Mary DeMoss on the taxes?
So Mary DeMoss, I think that was the day of the Mary DeMoss go round. That's when I think it was the same day. It may have been another day after that. But Mary DeMoss started to circle me and say, "What are your crimes, Mark?" Essentially, and she would keep moving out of the camera range, so I would move the camera to follow her. I would you know, she would duck off to the side, and being a proper cameraman, I know you've got to position them properly in frame. So I just kept moving with her, and we just kept circling and circling and circling as she was.
Thinking of that music that you have
I
on
was
it?
thinking, you know, once we started the circle, yes, I was thinking, oh, this is like a merry-go-round. So I came back and found some Calliope music to put to it, and the Merry DeMoss go-round was created, and that's one of my proudest achievements.
And that's what it's titled for these guys, so they can find it on your site?
The Merry DeMoss go-round is what it's called.
Definitely go see it, because it is funny. It really is. And it's the old days. You know, people always ask about what were the pickets like, and that was wild times. It really was.
It was fun. It was great fun.
Did you know that I wrote her up to RTC while I was out?
You should.
I know. But she kept asking me a certain thing. It was actually about my son. And she kept bugging me. And I wrote it up to RTC. And I said, look, you got two choices here. You can either tell her to shut up about my son, because it's no one's business but mine. It's my son. He's not part of this. Or I'm going to the media. And believe me on this, I will. And it's going to stop. And she never said another word. So somebody got to her and said, shut up.
Well, you know, I never held anything against Mary. I was delighted whenever I saw Mary show up, because I just knew she would be, you know, gloriously over the top and give me really great footage. So, you know, I ain't that stupid. I know when somebody's coming up to say horrific things to you, if you just let them talk, it makes them look bad. It's a much better plan of attack than, you know, saying nasty stuff back to them. All right, speak your mind. I'll listen.
Well, if you could just
but you know,
to Scientology.
But you know, I honestly thought that Mary and I could be friends, and I invited her out to dinner. You know, it turns out we were both actors. She was, I think, directing a children's theater troupe at the time, and you know, we had a lot in common, except for L. Ron Hubbard. So I think we could have been friends, but she was not ready to leave Scientology when you were. Apparently, she got a lot of crap from Scientology that drove her out of it years later. I found that out when I stopped in Denver to visit with Mark and Claire Headley for a couple of days. I did a driving tour around the entire U.S. doing interviews on video, and I stopped there. And what's that?
And you didn't take me.
No, I didn't take you. No, right. I didn't take you.
Could have been your bodyguard. I could have.
Yeah, you could have.
All right. Anyway, I'm gonna go on.
It wasn't a fun trip, but.
Oh, okay. Well, then
it was a rough trip.
Here's from Unstoppable SP. Hi, Tori and Mark. It's a pleasure to see you two together live. There you go. Thank you. This is from Jennifer Moore. Love seeing you two together. Thank you, Jennifer. And thank you, Unstoppable SP. Marcy, yes, $1 million. That's right. They owe me the $1 million, so I'm trying to get that. These guys are trying to help me. You never know unless you ask.
Yep.
You know it's a policy. They're supposed to give me my money back.
Yeah, but have you turned to Graham Berry for help with that in the past?
No. He's working on a whole different thing, and I know what he's working on. Oh. Mine isn't that. Mine is a different thing. Once he gets through all that, then I'll talk to him. But
he's doing the senior stuff.
What he's doing now is very important because it is something that's has receipts. You know what I mean? Like right now. And one of the guys called me and he explained it to me. And he said, I've got to fly there and give him the money. And I said, no, you have to talk to Graham Berry. And I put him on the phone and Graham said, get over here, don't turn yourself in. He was going to turn himself into Scientology. And Graham said no. And he got all his money back. And Mock said, he said, now he can just go up to him and he goes, here's the check. You don't have to say another word. You know, because they know it's, you know, it's high crime what they're doing. It's bad news. So now my stuff is small potatoes compared to that. All right. So now that was DF Lawless. Oh, no, this is a different one. Hi, Mark. Thanks for what you do. Can you see that or not? No.
If I put my glasses on, I can. Yep.
There you go.
I have a big TV here with it on that
Tori
but I don't like looking over it.
Tori should definitely be backdated. That's what Mark's doing with the monetization, I think she means. You know, like monetizing the older videos. I think that's what you mean.
Well, well, I think backdated would mean that, you know, from the time you applied for it several months ago, you should have been earning money all that time when they, you know, dragged their feet getting you monetized. But you're on track now. You're doing okay. I saw what you got there. I see people rolling in with their questions, and that's really greatly appreciated.
It is really.
It means the world to us. And I'm going to start doing many more videos. I've been preparing things and upscaling things, and I have them hidden away on YouTube, waiting to premiere them. So I'm going to start offering memberships if anyone wants to join, because Papa has some bills to pay too. So if anyone wants to chip in anything for me, that would be greatly appreciated.
Santa Claus, you are, because you have a lot of secret things that are good stuff.
Yeah, I got a lot of fascinating stuff to go, and I wanted to just finish off on that Mary DeMoss thing. When I was in Denver with Mark and Claire Headley, there were some other Scientologist couples who dropped by just to visit and say hi. And they knew Mary, and they knew that Mary had left Scientology, but she wasn't speaking out. She felt she had been abused by both sides, critics and Scientology, and she just washed her hands of the whole thing. And I managed to text her at one point after that, and you know, just saying, yeah, it'd be nice if you want to talk. I'd love to talk, but she didn't want to, and she has yet to take me up on the offer. But I wish her nothing but the best. You know, I always liked her, and I always wanted the best for her. And the best for her was getting out of Scientology, it seems. Yeah. So there you go. That's my Mary DeMoss story.
Okay, good. So this is from Lovett, who's another moderator. Paulette Cooper, Operation Snow White, big stuff. True. Here's a thing from Marcy. I don't know did we already say that? But thank you, Marcy. This is from Lovett. Mark, how long did Scientology picket your house?
Well, you can see it. I mean, the entire length of it was that video. I think it was like 20 minutes before
That's it?
They give up. Yeah, I think so. It's a half hour at the most.
Oh, I thought they were out there for months.
Oh no, they came over once, and I brought up the camera and interviewed Dan Mernon and this other fella D. D left within 3 minutes, and Dan stuck it out for 20 or more, and they never showed up again because I put that video online. It was the first video that I shot and put up with a little introduction, if you've seen it, to Mike Render to show how his little boys did, and they never came around me again. So, but they were doing that very same revenge picket thing all across the country. They continued to do it, especially against women. What was her name? She always picketed in her red flannel pajamas.
Oh, I know who you mean.
I like her.
name. Yeah,
I really liked her. I haven't seen her in a couple
she's
of
from
decades.
San Francisco.
Yes,
Did you hear?
and I think she worked in the music industry there as well. But that's what I know about her.
She was
but
together.
they were protesting at her house like every week, and even after I chased them away from my house, they continued showing up, saying the most horrendous things to her, trying to bull-bait her. And she was doing audio tapes of them. And I put up some of those audio tapes, I think.
I just want to tell you one story about her, because she was so organized. She had a backpack with flyers in them. She had a front pack with the tape recorder and tapes and stickers. So she would finish a tape, put the sticker on it, label it, put it in the backpack. She'd take out the flyers, find out about Scientology, it's worse than you think. Find out about Scientology, it's worse than you think. She'd just do that. And as they'd come up and say this shit, she had it all on tape. And when the tape would end, she'd label it, put it in her backpack. I mean, she had it together, man. I thought, wow, this is a true critic. You know what I mean? Where she knew what she wanted to do, and she was good at it. I'd love to see her again. I've never seen her since. Well, if she sees us, contact Mark or I or both of us, because we'd love to talk to you. That would be really fun. And you check out if you have those tapes, because if you do, that would be fun.
I don't think I have them anymore. I'm sure I digitized them at one point and probably put them on Alt Religion Scientology. I don't know that I ever had them on a website.
But somebody could type in the Wayback Machine and go to all of them.
Yeah, but it doesn't have a full archive that I can tell.
No,
because I once in a while search for something like on the anniversary of your leaving Scientology. You wondered whether it was on this date or that date, and I did a Google search and found your announcement on ARS saying, "This is the day. Don't ever talk to me again. Don't contact me again, Scientology. I am out." So,
Magoo left
I was able to verify that date. Yes. Yeah.
Yep. You can type in Magoo left the building and it comes up. That
there you go. Well, I wish I'd known that when I was searching.
Oh, well, you should have called me. You know, pick up the phone.
Hey, you called me and said, I don't know what date it is. I didn't think to say, hey, what should I type in to find it? But we'll just leave it at that.
All right. So, Tori, maybe we are CIA family. Exactly. You are. So thank you, Dawn. You are. Okay. So, Sophie, back in the 2008, I binged on Xenu TV. That's what got me interested in cults. All right, 49ers. So that was on your site, Mark. Right? Xenu TV. That's it.
Yep.
And here's one for Wise Beard Man from Keith. Thank you for all that you've done.
You're welcome.
And that's true for all of us. We all thank you. You're a wonderful person. And
is there anybody who doesn't thank me? Raise your hand if you don't thank me. We'll just cut it short that way.
No, that's no fun.
I appreciate it.
All right, question. Mark, can you talk about when you... Okay, you already did that one. Okay, now this is Poof 911. Just watch Mark on Ironclad with Andy Stump. Love your interviews. Thanks for sharing all your knowledge. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah, that was
400 years ago.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that long ago. It's just I haven't seen that in ages. I did another one that was more memorable to me because he actually flew me up to New York to shoot it in his studio. And I can't think of his name right now, but I hooked him up with some other critics, including Aaron, because he was fascinated by Scientology. So he's been doing a bunch of Scientology interviews since then. I was the first one, and I got to tell you, I went there. I had an hour's worth of sleep because I had to get like a flight at 5 a.m.
That's awful.
I was so exhausted. I thought, how am I going to do this actually? But once I got there and we actually started the interview, it went on. I think it was like a 3 or 4 hour interview.
Wow.
Halfway through, we stopped for lunch. The first part of the interview, I was actually surprised how much energy I had, and I had a nice time answering the questions. They did they had fun doing the segment.
Sure.
And I think that was infectious. However, after we took the break, and somebody got on my butt because, names aren't always the easiest thing. But I was trying to tell the story about Hubbard in Pasadena stealing Jack Parsons' girlfriend. And I was trying to think of the name of the Satanist that this guy was in contact with, and I gave the wrong name.
Aleister Crowley?
Yeah, and I was saying Anton LaVey is the only name I could think of. It was the wrong guy, so I saw a comment then.
Just a second. I can't talk right now. Okay, there. That's my roommate. Sorry.
So I came home and I actually looked at the comments for the video, and somebody is saying, "Oh, it was Anton LaVey, you jerk. This guy doesn't know anything." I've been writing stuff for hours and hours about Scientology, the good stuff, and okay. One Satanist name I blank on. Oh, you little loser.
Probably a Scientologist who called in.
You can't win.
You know how that is. That's what they do. I mean, normal people aren't going to do that.
No, normal people do it all the time. They'll get a chip on their shoulder and they'll go, "Oh, this guy."
All right, this is Marzi Dates. You will be amazed watching Mark's old videos of the protests. The way the scientists reacted were so different than now. Yeah, that's back when they could talk.
I gotta apologize on behalf of Tori Marzi Dates because she's a young gal. She does not know the song. Marzi Dotes and Dozy Dotes and little Amsy Divey and little Divey, whatever, a kiddly Divey too, wouldn't you? Something.
What did I say?
Well, you called her something.
No, I said Marzi Dotes.
Mary Dates, I think.
No, I said Marzi Dotes.
Play the tape back. Control room, play the tape back.
I know.
I want the producer on the line right now.
I know the song. No wonder I'm effective because of what? What does that mean? I'm effective because of Mark. That's right. Okay. Oh, wow. Mark Bunker and Tori Magoo together live on the internet. It is a fact, Jack. It's happening.
We're shutting this thing down. This internet is breaking. There's too many people watching this stream tonight.
Davey, it's tonight. We're shutting it down. It's an absolute pleasure to hear your voices and see your faces in collaboration. You've both been integral in my leaving the cult. Ooh, thank you, Snooky. Congratulations on leaving. That's wonderful. All right, now we got 24 more to go.
We are essentially one person, and I left to the other side of the coast because I knew Tori could handle everything on the West Coast. I deal with the East Coast. I knew LA was in good hands. Yeah.
I'm so glad I caught this live tonight. Love and respect to you both. I love hearing these stories. Tori, so glad you left Scientology and glad you're finally on YouTube. I've been on YouTube since 2008. I'm glad you're on YouTube monetized. That's a different thing. And live stream. That's new for me as of December. Yeah.
Well, you're an old hand at it, though. Now you've been doing it like almost every night, it seems. Out
I
there
do
doing
it
a
a
live
lot.
stream.
I try to either protest or make a video. You know, that's my thing. Not
And
every
I
night.
need to do that. I need to do that, but
I don't do it every night.
I'm
But
building up to
you
it.
have more material than I have, so we can do it together. Also, I remember combing the website 25 or 30 years ago. I lived in Clearwater, wanted to know what was taking over downtown. I was there then. I was there in 1979 when they were trying to get rid of Richard Tenney, who was trying to become the city commissioner. And they told me, we moved there in 79, and they said, Tori, you have to handle it. And that was amazing. I mean, there were like hundreds and hundreds of cars and people. Stamp out Scientology, save sparkling clear water, stamp out Scientology. And I'm like, me? What am I going to do? And he said, well, there's only 4 public in Clearwater. And this is all top secret, so no one can know. And I said, okay, what is it? Because everything in Scientology is top secret, right? So I was like, all right, what now? And he said, well, Hubbard was going to land in Georgia. He found out that the FBI were going to be there and plant drugs on the ship. So he zoomed around to Florida, bought the Fort Harrison under a phony name. And you'll know the name of the church. What is it?
Well, it's United Churches of Florida, but it was the Southern Land Company that purchased it and then leased it or something to the United Churches of Florida.
Okay, but the United Churches, because I always forget.
think that was it.
I think that's it, of Florida. Anyway, they bought it under that. So he said, so we did lie, Tori. We had to lie. So we bought it under a phony name. But now his whole campaign is don't trust Scientology. They're liars. And so he said, so you need to go out and handle them. And I'm thinking, you know, I have a brand new baby. So I'm walking out with Justin as a baby, holding him. Here's all these people going up and down in front of the Fort Harrison, screaming and yelling. Oh, he's going to sleep. This always happens with Bunker. You have to pardon him. It's just the way it is. Whenever I tell a story, he goes, oh, did it go?
What? I'm not talking.
You.
I'm sorry?
I don't do that to you when you tell a story.
I'm tired. I'm an old man.
Oh. All right. Anyway, just to finish it, they made me handle it, and I went out, and the first one was an older lady that had an American flag and a stamp out Scientology. And I went over to her and I said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "I'm against Scientology, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Look, the only product that you're making right now is my son is crying. You're a grandmother, right?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, then put down your flags and go home." And she did. She set them down and went home. So I just started doing that one person at a time. That was always my thing. I just talk to an individual versus the whole crowd kind of thing. So that was the beginning of my OSA thing, because I went from nothing, who's Tori Crispin, and Tori Bazazian then, to call Tori, she can handle anything. I got rid of the guy. He got voted out of office. So by the time we came back to LA, they were like, "Are you Tori? We need you for this. We need you for that." It was just like everything. It was unbelievable. Anyway, weird. Is Ian Shillington still selling quack herbal medicine?
I don't know if he is or not. He, I think, was connected with the Nature's Patch store here in Clearwater, which is a favorite Scientology haunt. I know I've been in there and seen ads for him doing live little seminars in the store.
Wasn't he in that stuff, that grass stuff? Not like marijuana grass, but it was like some kind of, I can't remember, but it was like a healthy grass that you could eat. And super blue-green algae. I think it was Ian, but whoever it was an OT7, and they found out it was a multi-level thing, and this lady was like at the top of it, and he married her in a flash, became, a multimillionaire overnight because it was her money. And, then he was shopping all this super blue-green algae. I don't know if that was him or not, but The Scientologists are always into all that stuff. All right, let's keep going. We got to keep going this. Let's see. So cool to witness this mutual admiration. Hello, Tori and Mark. Oh, no, I'm late. So happy to be here with you both and the wonderful people in the chat. We agree. Thank you for coming, all people in the chat.
It is nice to have a community. It's very exciting to see everybody finding these channels and digging into the history and really taking action to make a difference.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. Mersey Dotes.
Hey!
Wow, what a time that was for C of S. Tori is blowing and Ursula has a press conference. I know, all in one night. Oh my God. Stacy and Bob, that was amazing because we stayed up all night. Mark Bunker, the most underrated protester of some really bad shit in our generation. Mark, you are incredible. I don't think he's underrated. I think everyone I talk to is like, he's an amazing cat.
I'm a national treasure.
You are. Fact.
Yeah.
And
what can I say?
I'm a national princess. And guess what? You didn't know that?
No, princess, no.
And
I didn't know you're a royalty. I treat you like a queen, but you know, I didn't know you were. You must have a crown there.
You're gonna see it.
Is that what you're going for? Ooh.
Somebody sent me. Yep. You are a national treasure. I am a princess.
Wow. Wow.
Somebody sent me
lovely.
That.
You're lovely. I got to tell you, Magoo, I put a little image up on YouTube, on Facebook, rather, to promote the fact that we were doing this video. And I created an AI image of you. I had a plan because I started. It's been raining horribly here all week in Clearwater, and I can't go out and do anything. So I've been busy doing stuff on the computer, and I thought, let me learn how to do AI. Because I need to make some really nice thumbnails for these videos.
Sure.
And so I've started I programmed, I created a profile for me with a lot of my pictures, so it knows how to make images of me in any setting I want.
Right.
And so before doing this, I thought I'm gonna do one for Tori, and I'll have Tori and us sitting together. The thing I had tried to create for this video tonight was you and I having dinner at the Fort Harrison 5-star restaurant.
And you had on a crown.
What's that?
Did you have on a crown?
No. I was going to have you and I enjoying dinner, having a great meal along with Tom Cruise and L. Ron Hubbard, and we'd all be having a wonderful time. I thought, what a great image. And I couldn't do it. Because it turns out that apparently you can only do one person at a time that you've put a model together for. So I can make an image of me, and I can separately make an image of you. So I did throw together an image of you walking into the restaurant at the Fort Harrison Hotel, looking gorgeous, and supposedly the entire restaurant was supposed to turn in awe, and some even standing and applauding you. That didn't happen. But you come, but it's on Facebook, and if you go look at the Facebook page, you'll see it now. It's one of the things I was wanted to show you during the course of this video. Unfortunately, when I tried to go back to it, I got kicked out of the studio. So
you what?
I got kicked out of the studio at the beginning of this video.
Oh yeah,
so I gave up on it.
Yeah.
But look for that online, and you'll see many more AI images.
Yeah.
I put one up on Facebook earlier today of me as Doctor Who.
Ooh, I know you love that.
Oh, I love Doctor Who.
I know.
So it's astonishing how good AI is, and I know it's going to be the downfall of civilization soon. It's going to destroy everything,
Well, maybe
probably
not.
before this election happens.
No.
It's only going to get worse because you now I can create a picture of me that looks flawless. Sometimes there are flaws, though, and I was going to show you that in the video tonight.
Do you watch Bill Maher ever?
Yes. I do.
Did you see the one where he asked AI to do a skit for him? And in, I think, 3 minutes, they did an entire skit. And it sounded exactly like him. It was really freaky.
Yeah, I think I did see him do. I think it was like George Carlin. Some guy had created a new fake George Carlin monologue, and I remember seeing him play that.
Oh.
And yeah, it sounded like George Carlin, but it wasn't funny. It was, and that's what happens. You can come close, but it doesn't have that human spark.
But I know you
creativity.
Can do other pictures for a thumbnail, because you can ask Aaron. He does it all the time, where he's got a whole bunch of people.
Well, I'm enjoying coming up with this. I think it's going to be great when I master it. But go look at the image of you looking breathtaking. I did another one that was supposed to be you and another person, and it was two yous.
And it was
so some a Tory and a Tory. I said I want to do a video of me, or a pic, and I create an image of me receiving the Scientology Freedom Medal of Freedom, whatever it is, Freedom Medal of Honor, in place of Tom Cruise. It didn't do that. Instead, it showed me getting a medal, and I am congratulating myself on the award. It was like, okay, I don't remember being in a room with me before. So sometimes it's obvious when AI is at work.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's just because like fingers are wacky or something like that. But now you can create video that is convincing. And so, there's every chance that this will happen before the end of this presidential campaign and throw everything into chaos. Did you find you? Is that you on Facebook?
No, I found Harold, though. That's the picture of my husband.
There's Harold. Okay.
Remember that one? That's where we were protesting.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go along because we have 17 more. What was the moment that you both individually decided that you would not stop speaking out against Scientology? That you would not stop speaking out about Scientology? Like I said, I left LAX as a Scientologist. By the time I got to Clearwater, I didn't know it, but at that point, I was like, I knew it when I read that thing about enforced abortions. That was it for me. I knew I was done. They'd already thrown me under the bus, so that was sort of, I'm done, really. That's really the night I left. It was when Yachty threw me under the bus. I didn't get into Scientology to stop free speech and have you throw me under the bus. You're my auditor. And I was like really pissed. I'm going to take this off. But isn't it cute?
It's adorable. Hand it to me and I'll put it on. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. So anyway, I forgot what I was saying, but what was I saying?
You were talking about something.
Harold. That was you in here and us protesting.
Oh, yes.
But anyway, let's go on and ask questions. Let's see what else they have. What was the moment? Oh, that was it. What was the moment we both decided not to speak up? And for me, it was really not to stop speaking out. Was really probably by the time I got to Tampa, and they'd done so much shit. You know, they canceled my van. The plane was canceled. I don't know if that was an accident or not, but you know, the vice president was at LAX. They followed me around. Bob had to get me the first class ticket. Then Harold was in Clearwater or in Chicago saying, "Tori, we got to go on a vacation." And I'm like, I knew vacation meant lock her up in a cabin in Wisconsin. And I have no idea what they do after that, but I wasn't going to find out. And I was like, no, we're not going on a vacation. And then Osa showed up in Chicago. And I said, I thought you were here by accident, by yourself. Well, these people, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the rest of it's history. But that was it for me.
I don't think I'll ever grow tired of this. I find it a fascinating story. And it's because of, you know, this unique combination of things that I'm fascinated by. You know, I love Hollywood. I love science fiction. And I'm fascinated by cults. So this is like a unique blend that kind of got me sucked into learning more about this. And then when you get personally attacked by the cult, it makes it even more fascinating. And it's just kind of snowballed. I didn't set out to say, hey, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to move to Clearwater and work for a group that tries to help people abused by Scientology. And then after 2 years, we'll be chased out of town, and I'll be, you know, I got to tell you, when I actually left Clearwater, there was this panic, and you know, I was told by Stacy and Bob, okay, you got to get out of town now. You got to go. You got to leave this weekend because they're going to come to your door. They're going to subpoena you, and it's going to be trouble. So, you know, get a truck, get your stuff, get out of there. And,
wow.
And that was the only time that I was like, there's a frenzy here. Oh my God. So I'm doing all of that. And there's a knock at the door. And I actually go into the bedroom and I sit on the floor and I call Stacy on my phone. They're here. They're at the door. And I just ignored it. And they went away, and I thought, woof, okay. Turned out it was the neighbors next door who don't like Scientology, and they were just coming to return some tapes I'd given them.
Oh, funny.
I saw them right before I actually hopped in that van and left. But so there was a level of paranoia that was not normally with me, but it was a memorable day. And you know, it's something that I never considered doing or would be my life, but it's been a fascinating ride.
Me neither, but it's been a fascinating ride. Hey, do you remember? I think it's called My Scientology Story. It's a thing where you're in it, Stacy, a bunch of people. I think Bob was in it. Maybe that's not the name of it. But do you remember that movie? It was, I think, Patricia Greenway made it, and
no, I don't know of anything Patricia Greenway made other than The Prophet.
Maybe that was it. Maybe that was it. Was it really bad?
Yeah, it was horrible. It was a thinly disguised biography of L. Ron Hubbard. Right. That was horrible.
And somebody gave me a copy of it, and I brought it over to Spanky's to show her, and there were other people in the industry, and they all agreed it was the worst movie they'd ever seen, right? So I went on ARS and posted that's what they thought. And I got a letter from Scientology's attorney saying we need to know the names of every single person that was at Spanky Taylor's house who watched that movie, their phone numbers, their addresses, all this stuff. And I called you up. I was like, Mark, what should I do? And you said, throw it out. They're not going to do anything. And it really helped me. It did. Thank you.
Yeah.
You all helped me, but that was a good one.
Yeah. And I told the story recently with you, I think. how Peter and Patricia, who made the Prophet, sued me. Scientology never sued me, but our friends, Peter and Patricia, did.
Why did they sue you?
Well, Bob Minton gave $2.5 million in funding to make this movie. And that money was blown in 3 months, and the resulting film was horrific. But Bob did a cameo in the film. As a matter of fact, this is one of the things that I prepared and upscaled and have waiting for me to do a live video to play all of these things and give this whole story. And so I'll do that in the next few days. A bunch of stuff that I've already published that hasn't been made a public video yet. So Bob, being the guy who paid for the damn film, wanted me to put video of the clips of his cameo on the LMT website. And then the LMT members like Jesse and Jeff Jacobson and me, Bob, sorry, Bob. Again, I'm blanking on names.
Bob Harvey, is that it?
Bob Harvey? No, but it's Bob, and I apologize. But they all had little cameos, and so I put together just like 2 minutes worth of clips and put that on the LMT website, and they threatened to sue over that. So Stacy said, take them down. And I took them down. And then Bob saw that I took them down, and he called me and said, I want those back up.
It's my money, put them back up.
Yeah. And you know, I said to Bob on the phone, this is the only time I heard him angry. Because Stacy was the president of the LMT, the Lisa McPherson Trust.
Right.
And I was taking orders from her, so it couldn't go back to Bob. It wasn't Bob's responsibility. Stacy wanted me to take them down. And I explained this to Bob. Well, Stacy doesn't want the LMT to be sued. I don't care. I want them up. Okay. So I put them back up, and then there was a knock on my door a few days later, and it was a guy serving me with a lawsuit for having infringed the copyrights. And I let Bob and Stacy know, and Bob sent them an official letter saying that in the deal for the company, that the LLC that we put together to make this damn movie, one of the stipulations was neither partner, Bob or the writer director of the film, could sue without the permission of the other person. So that killed this lawsuit, and I never had to deal with it at all. But I've got it tucked away in a drawer here somewhere, I think. But it amazes me that the most litigious cult in the world has never sued me, but my friends have. Life is wacky.
I know that's how Andreas was too. They never sued him. Go figure. All right, now this is from Mersey Dotes. Did I get it right?
Hi, Mersey Dotes. Yeah, you did.
Okay. Question, Mark. How did you handle all the verbal abuse you would get during the protest without feeling bad and wanting to quit? You didn't care?
I never took it personally. Yeah. I know that they're trained in bull baiting. And I know that when they're saying these horrible things to me, all I'm hearing is L. Ron Hubbard. What are your crimes, Mark? What are your crimes? Come on, spit them out. They're trained on that.
So stupid. I told you what happened with Laurel Sullivan, right?
Yes, I'm sure you have.
Do you know who she is?
No.
Laurel Sullivan was L. Ron Hubbard's personal PR on the ship. And they sent me out a lot to handle the critics, right, when I was in. And a lot of times they'd leave. They'd pack up and leave for various weird reasons. There were things that, had nothing to do with me saying leave, but it was more me using an antidote and them going, yeah, you're right. Okay, we're out of here. And they'd leave. I never did the what are your overages, what are your crimes. So now I leave. I meet Laurel Sullivan at Nancy Maney's house. And I say, look, I got to ask you a question. You were L. Ron Hubbard's personal PR. OSA never had any success with these critics, getting rid of them. But they would send me out, and a lot of times I would ask them to leave, and they would leave. So what's up? What's the difference there? Why couldn't OSA do that, right? And she looks at me, and she goes like this. You never did L. Ron Hubbard's personal PR training course, did you? And I said, no. And I thought about it. And I thought really all my PR training was from my dad and mom. Because my dad was a broadcaster on TV and my mom was sort of a personal PR in her own way. And so I said, no, not really. And she goes, that's why you were successful. We who were trained in L. Ron Hubbard's PR tech were kicked out of every port around the world that we went into.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. 100% standard tech does not get the results that was promised.
Yeah.
Hubbard did so many stupid things that God bless him for doing them, but it made it really difficult to get any type of legitimacy. And still, they got the money now, but there's no legitimacy still.
And they have no people anymore.
They're laughing stock. It's a punchline on TV shows everywhere. You can't get any new members in there. So
I love to just sit underneath that big Scientology sign on Fountain. And there's a big restaurant down there now, and a lot of tourists go there. And then they come walking down to get a kind of a photograph underneath the Scientology sign, but they don't want to admit that. And I said, I saw it. And I say, do you want a photograph underneath the sign? And they kind of go, no. And I go, oh, come on. It's really a great shot. Go sit by the flowers and I'll take it. Give me your camera. And so I sit there and I take these pictures and then I tell them if they live in, like one couple was in Canada and I said, you're not Scientologists, right? And they go, oh, God, no. And I said, so when you go home, if you can, post this in your local paper and put xenu.net next to it, because that has all the stuff Scientology doesn't want anybody to know. It's funny, though. It's funny to hear people, I go, are you a Scientologist? They go, no. Whereas in the old days, they'd go, no, but they're a religion. They have a right to have it. Not anymore. That's gone. All right, now here's another one for you, Marquis. This is from PSY Cater. I would like to ask Mark whether after the political inside perspective, there are new learnings as to why the U.S. government is not cracking down on Scientology abuses and lies.
Who wants to go through that hassle? Most politicians, they don't want to do anything that's going to create an enemy that has money that can get them defeated. So they'll play it safe. And it takes balls to stand up to Scientology. And I tell you, the people at the Clearwater City Hall, they understand what Scientology is. They don't approve of it. But what are they going to do? Their feeling is, the state government's not helping. The federal government's not helping. What can we do? Well, you could try. But unfortunately, there isn't there isn't any appetite for it. And what really needs to be done is to get their tax exempt status revoked. And how do you do that? You have to go through Congress and hold hearings on it. Congress is so damn dysfunctional, nothing can get done. Nothing that and important issues like guns again. We got more kids dead in this country. Sensible gun control.
And it has to go through Congress first.
Yeah, you got to get the approval of Congress and the Senate and to make changes like this. And Congress is the body that holds hearings on IRS issues. But who's going to do it? Who in there has the interest in doing it to begin with, and who wants to anger the billion-dollar cult, the multi-billion-dollar cult that can have them kicked out of office in the next election? So, it's kind of hopeless unless there's some major incident that makes it impossible to ignore. Like Operation Snow White was one of those moments. And they managed to survive that. But honestly, the advantage we have now that we didn't have back then is that the population knows about it. People know what Scientology is now, what they believe, how they behave. It's wild how mainstream a lot of this information is now.
And the other thing is the live streaming, Mark, because honestly, these kids with their cameras have shut down every building here in LA. Every window is shut down. That's from the live streamers and from these guys online supporting us that are doing live streams. It really makes a difference. I mean, I was stunned when Aaron came with a bunch of people. Liz Gale flew in, Nora. There were a bunch of people that flew in and came here to protest. And normally we could never, remember Field of Dreams where he'd go to put his hand in the corn? Yeah. Mark? And he couldn't, right? Or he could, but it went invisible. And so I would put my toes over you're trespassing, and I'd put my toes over it like Field of Dreams, right? Just to tease them. And they'd be right there with the security every time. So now when there's 10 cameras out there, 10 different cameras, and they know they have like 100 to 1,000 to 3,000 to 5,000, 10,000 people watching. At first, the guy I'm tired. I'm 77. I go to sit on one of their walls, and the guy says, "Get up, get out of here." And I said, "Look, I'm 77. I'm just sitting here for 2 minutes." And the guy goes, "No, get up, get out of here." And I kind of look at the cameras and I walk up and I go, "Look, I might be old, but I can still kick ass." And everybody laughs. And I know what happened. He went inside and whoever was his boss said, "Leave her alone. Don't do another thing. Don't say another thing." Because everywhere I went, I took Drew, who used to, we always protest together. And we went at every place where they had kicked us out, all around the packed area. And they didn't kick us out anywhere. I knocked on the front door of LA Org. Some guy drove in and dropped off his mother, and I ran up down the driveway and I said, "Is that your mother?" And he said, "Yep." And I said, "Okay, here's my card." And I handed him the card and I said, "Put it away because the security guard's going to come in a minute." And he did. And then I said, start learning what these guys are really about because it's not good. And your mother's, they're just using her. She was old. I mean, I thought maybe she was a cleaning lady or something. I said, "Is she here to do Scientology?" "Yes." Ugh. Anyway, there you go. Mark didn't pass out. He's getting, the kitty.
He's one of my kitties.
What's his name?
It's a she, and her name is Allie. I've got 2 cats, Kate and Allie. They're sisters. Cute. Kate Cat and Allie Cat.
Oh, cute.
And Kate absolutely hates being held. Like she panics when I pick her up, and there are times when I have to take her over to her food, as she's up on the counter, and I say, "Your food's down here," and I'll pick her up and put her down in front of that, and she'll be panicking until she hits the ground right in front of the food. Oh, okay, thanks.
That's funny for a cat. Usually they're pretty good with food.
Yeah.
And the other one is on the floor.
You reminded me. The other one's sleeping behind me here, and they're sisters, but this one I think was probably they were triplets, and this one became two of the cats.
What do you mean?
She's twice this. She's huge. I don't know if I can.
Yeah, you gotta pick her up.
Come here. They don't want to see you. You're famous. Leave that alone. Stop it. Stop. Oof. Here she is. Big, huge cat. Whoa. Whoa.
Hi.
This is Kate.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, I know. It's miserable. You hate being on the internet. I know. Oh, it's so terrible.
Put me down, Marky. Put me down.
All right. There she goes.
All right. Oof. Very cute. Make me want to have cats again. All right, let's see.
Oh, but you reminded me of the story that I think I told you once before. I was on L. Ron Hubbard Way, and I really had to pee. And I think there was a subway like a block away, wasn't there?
There is a block away, yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't think I'd make it. There were some porta potties for workers there, so I said, it's on their property, but screw it. So I went in and used the porta potty, and the security guard was on there pounding on the door. Come on, you're not supposed to be in there. And so, just a moment. I had to pee. I don't care. I didn't break any huge law. Get over it.
Yeah, get over it. Good. Well, it was interesting for me to see the difference, and now that's why they have all those windows shut down. And Streets has said, Streets LA is like, hey, you want to open them up? We'll be there any day, anytime. We'll be there. And I know it's true. They'll all be back. So Scientology, this has been a fun thing to watch. Like the anonymous thing, that was amazing. But it kind of came and they did their thing, but they had cameras, but not like these guys have cameras. Everyone has a camera and everyone has, live stream. This is new.
I mean, that's the new wrinkle in this. Because there were a lot of people putting up videos during the anonymous years from all around the world, and it was pretty remarkable to see.
But it's not live stream, which is different.
Yeah, being able to just hook in live and watch what's going on
and comment.
Is remarkable.
Right. Mm-hmm. All right. So I've got to ask Mersey Doze as another question. Why do you think most of the media won't speak out about or report on CFS protesting or news?
Why the media won't talk about protests? Well, I mean, they did for Anonymous, but as far as the live streams, I don't see a lot of coverage of live streams of any type.
They haven't posted on Scientology except Anonymous. That was it. I've done hundreds of interviews with them, and they do. But
Anonymous was unique because suddenly 2,000 people showed up at one point in LA, while 10,000 were in London. Major cities all across the world were hit by thousands and thousands of people. Even small towns had a handful of people protesting. That had never happened before. So that and the scary Anonymous video, that was a hook for the media to be interested. Now live streams, I don't think they care. Who's not doing live streams nowadays? Everybody's got their own channel, not just on Scientology, but it's amazing how many voices are out there. And that's why I wrote about this online somewhere just yesterday, I think, talking about you and how amazing it was when we were in London and we were walking down the street with John Sweeney outside the BBC, and someone came up on the street to you and said, Tori, I love you. I watch you all the time. And, John Sweeney is this national broadcaster, prestigious fella who's on TV there all the time. You're one of millions of YouTube channels, and yet you were famous. I mean, that's pretty damn remarkable.
I know that one was a remarkable. When I went to Norway, and Andreas said, we've got to go get a one of those squishy, blow up mattresses, because I was going to stay at his sister's. And we walk in IKEA, and same thing happened. Somebody walks up and goes, Tori, hi, I know you from YouTube, blah, blah, blah. And Andreas goes, I can't believe it. I'm Norwegian. I've lived here all my life. I have up the huge website, and they know you. And I said, but they know me because of the video. It's a video world. Yours is all writing. That's the difference. Nobody's seen your face. How would they know you? And so he started doing stuff on camera after that. And then the other one was Bernie Sanders. They were here, and Spanky, me, and a bunch of other people went down to see Bernie Sanders the first time he spoke down at the convention center. And it was 37,000 people. And I'm with Michael, I forget his last name. He's a Scientology quote unquote celebrity, but not a big one, right? But he thought he was big. And we're going up the stairs to get this. Travis went upstairs to get the seat, and we're going up after him. And somebody jumps out and goes, hey! And Michael kind of stands up real, like it's one of my fans. And I think, okay. And I kind of stand aside, and the person goes, Tori Magoo, I'm one of your fans from YouTube. It was really cute. It was really sweet.
Yeah,
so
I get that a little bit, but not with the great passion that you do. Although I did, there was one time when I was living in San Diego, and I was engaged to a lovely woman, and we went to I was engaged to some lovely woman back in those days, and we were at the grocery store, and somebody came up and spotted me and came over to gush over me, and so okay, see. I'm remarkable.
Look what it says under your name, National Treasure.
Yeah. If it wasn't true, it couldn't be there, for God's sakes.
They didn't put Princess or Queen under mine.
I know. It's just a matter of time. And one time, before the election back in 2020, I had spent a little time driving for Uber to stay alive. And there was a time when four young gals, in their early 20s, I think, hopped in my car. And they recognized me, or at least one of them did. And then all of them, she had seen me on Leah Remini's show. And they were just over the moon. Oh my God, we saw you on that. That was amazing. And once in a while, when I was driving like that, people would recognize me. That one was pretty remarkable to have a whole car full of women being agog overseeing me. That needs to happen more often.
Needs to happen more often. And Mark is available. If anybody's interested, I'll just say that.
There you go.
You're always too shy. All right, let's go. Mark, I can't get enough of your historical footage and wisdom. There you go. Chatty Cathy. All right, so you should contact Chatty Cathy. Putting videos on was the beginning of them running scared. Yeah?
Makes a huge difference.
It makes a huge difference. All right, now, Emmanuel Bruni. Okay. I used to watch all your videos back then. Thanks for bringing back the memories. It might sound weird, but I miss Bob and Stacy so much. Cheers from the random Italian guy. It's not weird. We miss them too. We really do. It's like they were amazing people.
hmm
And especially
They were
Bob.
fun people. And Bob was a down to earth guy. You know, when you're wealthy, you think, oh, this guy's going to be aloof and a jerk. But you know, he was just
He was
a
cool.
really nice guy.
Really nice guy. And I just watched our pie fight tonight. I rewatched it.
Yes.
I think it's somewhere on the internet, but I found it. I don't know.
Yeah,
how.
I have it on my channel. Yep.
That was fun. Anyway, okay. Question.
He was so upset about that.
I know. What was
he was
that
a
about?
neatnik. He's a neatnik.
Oh.
You mean, you know, everything has to be in its place, and you come around trying to make a mess of his kitchen. Oh my God!
It's a kitchen, for God's sakes. Like he can't
Bob's
clean it up.
kitchen. He does
I know,
not
you can
want
tell.
anything dirty done.
I know. He was like, no. All right. So this is from Sophie. Question: why do you think that Scientology is so bad at public relations? They claim to be communication experts, but they are so closed off now. I think I answered that earlier with Laurel Sullivan, where, you know, the people who did his PR course, Hubbard's PR course, were kicked out of every single port in the world.
Yeah. I mean, when you have to stick with what Hubbard wrote, you're in trouble. Because what Hubbard wrote was pretty much nonsense.
Right.
So, yeah, thank God, because it just made things worse and worse and worse for them. And they're unwilling to look.
Right.
So.
And now Miscavige is declaring more and more people suppressive. So it's like, whatever. All right, here's another one for you, Marquis. Does it matter to you, not to me? Okay, Mark is a great man and has been real boots on the ground making a difference, just like Tori.
It's a good thing I put the glasses on because I can see boobs. All right, boots. Okay, I got you.
Mark and I anonymous flew us over to London, and all these girls wanted Mark to sign their boobs or their bras. Remember that?
No, although I did. In DC.
It might have been in Washington. I think it was in DC. We went from London and then we went over to DC. I think that's where they went.
It wasn't all of them. It was one. And
it wasn't one. No way. No way. You're not skating out of that one.
I only signed one. If there was a line of them, I would have remembered.
You would have what?
I think somebody's calling to correct you right now. They're saying I was in DC and it was one.
All right, it was DC. You're right. We already corrected that. All right. So
I have not upscaled that. I think it's creepy now. Now, if you look at it, the Me Too movement, I shouldn't be signing. You know.
True, I guess so. It was funny at the time. At the time, it was funny because it was, and it was sort of goofy, and they were kind of goofing around too.
I have not done that since.
Either. And neither have they. Yeah. All right. Love it.
Well, I don't know. Question. She could still be going around getting strangers to sign her boob. I don't know. Possible.
All right.
Not me, though.
Not you, though. All right. Question, Mark. Didn't Scientology pass out flyers with nasty lies around your neighborhood? Sorry if I'm mistaken.
You're not mistaken. Yeah, they did. That was right before the revenge picket, where Dan and Dee came to my home. They had, the day earlier, I guess, gone around the neighborhood, put up these flyers saying, "Beware your neighbor, Mark Bunker is not who he seems." And I found out about it when one of the neighbors called me. Scientology had put my phone number on it. And so she called, worried that, is it what? We got a child molester moving into the neighborhood? What's going on here?
That's
and
what they wanted.
Luckily, at the bottom of it, they actually said it was from the Church of Scientology. So, people just laugh when they see that. Sure, beware your neighbor, right? But it was after that, and I had gone. The place where I was living in the hills there in LA. There was a police officer and his girlfriend and their kids living above me in the house there. And the officer was home, so I went up there and said, listen, I'm sure you got one of these flyers. I don't think we have to worry about it. There have been some cities where people are, there are Scientologists coming to people's homes in protest, and I don't think that's going to happen here. And as I'm telling him this, I looked out the window, and the two Scientologists had just shown up. So I ran out of there, went down, grabbed my camera, and started my video interview of the two guys, and chased them away, and never came back again.
Yeah, you were good at the camera.
Yeah, I don't think there were any more there. Although later when I was in Clearwater, they did spread DA.
Right.
They had me arrested in Chicago for supposedly trespassing while I was on a public sidewalk. And I was actually put in a squad car, booked, fingerprinted, mugshot was taken. It was one of my nicest. Yeah.
Isn't it against the law?
Well, they had Scientology. We found this out because we went to trial over it. Scientology had hired two off-duty police officers to be at the Chicago org because they knew I was in town interviewing these dentists who have been defrauded out of $100,000. So they were expecting trouble. And they had these officers inside the org for like 3 hours as they were being filled with all these stories about how dangerous I am and what a threat. And my God, you got to get rid of them. So the moment I arrived with the dentists and put my camera on my shoulder to say, tell me what's going on here today. Before the dentist could answer, these guys in black leather jackets ran between them and grabbed me by either arm and had me arrested for trespassing, even though I was on a public sidewalk. And I think it was like 5 or 6 squad cars that pulled up with their lights blaring for this little misdemeanor. Right. One of the officers who had been on Scientology's payroll for this turned to another one of the arriving officers to say, tell them to call this off. This is too much. Because they could see what a scene it was becoming. So it was a remarkable thing. And I was put behind bars for like 2 or 3 hours before they let me go. And I just posted bail and went home. But they kept my camera there in the lockup. And I had to go back the next day to pick up my camera. And when I got my camera back, the videotape that had been rolling through the entire arrest had been stolen from the camera, which was damn annoying. And we hired an attorney there, a top attorney. And he said, don't bother filing a grievance with the cops because it's just going to make them mad. You're never going to see the tape again. Forget it. At any rate, when I got back to Clearwater, because I had to start interviewing the dentists over again since part of the interview was taken on that tape. So it took like 3 days for me to get back to Clearwater. And by the time I arrived there, there was this little restaurant on Watterson Street right across from the LMT that we used to go to all the time. I went in there when I got back and they told me Scientology had been in there with my mugshot, warning them and every other business in the area, watch out for this guy. He's dangerous. He's been arrested, which was the whole point of it. As L. Ron Hubbard said, if you can't find any crimes, manufacture them. So it's remarkable how they behave.
That was the same restaurant they refused to serve me. Across from LPT.
The one that's across from the front door was the Scientology-owned place.
Right.
Out the back door, there was like a little steakhouse that were not fans of Scientology. So we used to go eat there all the time.
Wow.
And yeah.
And that lady said, "No, we're not going to serve you." And I said, "Why?" And she goes, "We just aren't." I said, "Because I'm a Scientologist." And she said, "That's correct." And I said, "Okay, well, that's against the law. It's discrimination. So call the police." And I sat down, and all the waiters came over and said, "Thank you so much. We hate her." So they were on my side. But anyway, weird days back then. Anyway,
Yep.
here's another question. This is kind of from Adrian. What's the guy's name who, now this is yours specifically, Mark. What's the guy's name who rung police outside CC Center, who said you assaulted him when he literally brushed against his foot and rung police too? Then every time you'd see him, he was limping on cue.
Well, not every time, but he did approach me and limp and say that I still have a permanent limp because of you. And then he walked away from me not limping, and I called him out on it.
Was this in CCLA?
That was on L. Ron. That was at L. Ron Hubbard Boulevard where he did the limping away. It was at the Celebrity Center where I accidentally bumped into him.
But here in LA.
In LA, yeah. And I called him Buddy. And Nora did a video with me because she knew who the guy was. He was the head of security at that time. So she gave me his name, and it's on the video. If you watch the video, that the live stream I did with her,
Right.
we go through the entire event and watch the videos of everything. And I don't remember what his real name is, but she does give it in that video, and it's a lot of fun to watch that one.
Yeah. All right, good. So there's that. Mersey Dotes has another one. I really wish Mary DeMoss would give an interview to anybody. I would love to hear her viewpoint on things. I think we all feel that way about a lot of different people, but people are people. You know,
I think Mary's unique in that Mary became a superstar on Xenu TV. She was like one of the key figures that made the videos interesting. She put herself in charge as head of the OT committee to chase us out of town, and failed. But because she was so nasty in what she would say, there are a lot of people who did not like her. Not me. I adored seeing her. Whatever horrible things she was saying to me, I just knew, well, here it's Oscar time for me. This is filmic gold, and I never blamed her for a damn thing. And I still believe we could get together and have a fun time. And she should do an interview for all those folks. She felt that she had. Here's what she told me in a tweet. Not a tweet, but a private message. She said she had no idea when this was happening that these videos would be on the internet going around the world and haunt her for years to come. And I do feel bad about that because it did make her life difficult. She's responsible for that. She was following the tech and striking an effective blow. But I told her at that point, what would make a huge difference? Sit down on camera with me, and all you have to do is say, I'm out. I'm out of Scientology. That would have been it. If you wanted to sit and have a discussion and chat, laugh about it, and really deal with, what it was like to have to handle critics and to see yourself on there, it'd be a fascinating video, and I think it would give people that perspective that I have about Mary, that she's not at fault. Scientology's at fault. She was striking an effective blow the way L. Ron Hubbard told her to, parroting the stuff that L. Ron Hubbard and Miscavige was saying. And I think that's part of the understanding of how Scientology works. I used to think, how could you do all this terrible stuff? I mean, including, Mike Rinder running the Office of Special Affairs and, doing all these dirty tricks and nasty things. Well, when you get into the mindset that Scientology is the only hope for the planet, and L. Ron Hubbard says this is what you need to do, and by God, we're gonna follow orders and stop this suppression, you can find yourself really compromising everything that you believe in. Well,
But
because
the other
you
thing
no
that
longer believe it.
is very important to point out is that how Scientology is like a totalitarian organization where the right hand literally doesn't know what the left hand's doing. So they keep everybody in different rooms. So you might not know what I'm doing over here. And over here, they're just like, we just need you to go put this envelope in the mailbox. And you're like, okay, it doesn't sound like much. And they say to you, here, Mark, put this box at 4:00 in that mailbox. Now, we haven't talked and we can't talk. We're not supposed to. We don't even know each other or working on the same program. But now you go put it in and the thing blows up. And I look at it and go, didn't I put a letter in there earlier? But it wouldn't have blown up. It was a letter. Do you see what I mean? And I don't know anything about you. And that's literally how Scientology works, the dark side of it. It's like people just don't know what's happening to them. And I tried to explain that to someone, and they insisted I knew. And I finally had to say, do you even know that I have epilepsy? And he said, no. And I said, okay, this conversation ends here, because he would not listen to my story at all. And he was making me wrong for all the abuses. And I was like, look, I didn't even know these people. I never even heard their names until after I got out. Actually, until like last year, for most of them, for the kids who were abused. I didn't know them. I didn't. I mean, the people think, everybody knew about it. No, they didn't. I'm not going to be audited by a 14-year-old kid. I just wouldn't. I'm not going to pay thousands of dollars to have a 14-year-old audit me. So that was in the Sea Org, and that's a different thing.
I just realized this whole time that I had moved my mic away from me to accomplish something before we started, I think. And I forgot to put the mic back up here. So I hope, the sound's been okay for everybody.
No, it's good. I think it was when you got the cat, you moved it.
I think it was earlier than that, but
You thought it was earlier?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think, when I was trying to find those images on my computer and got kicked out is when I moved it. It doesn't matter. I'm sure you're hearing me because you're writing comments about it. When I got kicked out of the stream at the beginning.
Be kind. Mark Bunker hasn't aged. Still looks better than ever. See, there you go.
I was always a broken down old man, apparently. But thank you.
That isn't what they said at all. It said Mark Bunker hasn't aged. He still
and here's
looks
another
better
thing
than
about
ever.
Here's another thing. I appreciate that. Thanks so much. Here's another thing about AI. The first image that I created of you were like 22 years old in the image. Well, okay. Unfortunately, I forgot to save that one. You have to save it before you make another one. So I don't have that one. But I have some other delightful ones that you'll be able to see. I'll do a video about this whole thing, and you can come on and see them too if you want. But interesting things pop up when you create AI images. There's one where I wanted to have, I said you and I and L. Ron Hubbard and Tom Cruise dining together. Instead, it was 4 copies of you There's another one. There was another one where you are in the main subject in the image, but behind you, you can see you sitting at other tables with other people. It was like, so the computer does some.
Oh, and this was an AI thing that they figured
the AI
out.
thing, yeah. That I've been, because it will create stuff that is just wrong, but sometimes it's delightfully wrong.
Well, that's good.
You know, in that particular image, you can see there are other people at other tables. If they're not you, they have your hair. So you got these guys with blonde hair. It's fun.
Very fun. All right, now here's another one. I hope you know you're aware of your impact.
I am. That's why I have such a gigantic ego, and I have to keep it in check. By going Pshaw.
Question: is Scientology involved in those vitamins that we see advertised on TV all the time? That I don't know. I don't watch TV that much, so I don't know which ones you're talking about.
I'm not aware of any, but you know, I don't watch ads in any way, shape, or form, really.
Yeah, me neither. All right, now this is a good one from Sophie. Question, Tori: why are so many Scientologists involved with natural medicine, yet their health is bad? Because Hubbard, believe it or not, even though I found out after I escaped out, was popping pills all the time, that he was taking me off my medicine for epilepsy. But we didn't know that, and his policies were against medicine. So people were always trying to handle their problems. It didn't matter what physical problem they had. They're always trying to handle it naturally, and they would get involved in selling them too. He's yawning again. All right, well, Mark, this is your last thing. Did everybody hit the like button? It looks like only 3 people did.
What?
That's not.
Are you kidding me? Only 3 people like this video?
There's 148 people in here and 3 likes.
Okay, we're going to do another 3 hours now until everybody here likes it. For God's sakes, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. For God's sakes, I'm getting it down.
All right, so let's go. Come on. There's only one starred thing, and I think that's the thing from Sophie. I just registered. I just read.
B. Taylor, I see B. Taylor's asking what program I'm using. Flux. So.
What is Flux?
Flux is one of the various image producing programs out there.
Oh, for AI.
Yeah, AI. Yeah. Ah. I just saw that comment pop up here.
Cool. All right, Marky. Well, you finish off. I started, so you finish.
Well, thank you everybody for being here with us tonight. I appreciate all the support that you're showing, Tori. It's a huge help for those of us who are seniors. So, and it's been a delight to chat with you, Magoo. I'm going to go. It's been a delight chatting with you again, as always.
As always.
And I'm going to go back to monetizing more of your videos and see if I can get through all 1,000 of them, or how many there are. You have to go one at a time.
No, I'm sorry.
All right, and for everyone who's been watching me and wondering where's Mark? I haven't seen him in a while. I've been preparing to do more videos, and thanks to this, you've jump-started me, and I'll be releasing some of the footage that I've already encoded, and other stuff is in the pipeline to be upscaled, including the entire Magoo catalog. Every word Magoo has ever uttered before my camera will be converted to 4K.
And other people.
Big job, but I'm happy to do it.
Oh, you videotaped a lot of people, right?
A lot. I've got a lot of interviews that I haven't played before. I saw a story, I think, on Tony Ortega the other day about Hubbard at what's the King Arthur's Court, the apartments in Dunedin that he leased.
Oh yeah.
Back in 2000, Jerry Armstrong was in Clearwater, and we went over. He gave me a tour of King Arthur's Court. I shot video of him pointing out Hubbard's apartments and where the guns were stored and all that kind of stuff. I've never shared that video because it was supposed to be for a film, but I'm going to be releasing a lot of that stuff now.
Good, wonderful. Well, let us know when we can become members.
Should be very soon.
Okay, great. All right. And me too, hopefully. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to become,
we'll get it working.
We'll get it. All right. In the meantime, thank you for doing the interview. It was wonderful. Thank you to everyone who came, and have a wonderful rest of the weekend.
Good night.
Good night.
You want to say good night, cats?
See, do they want to?
No, they don't want to. No.
All right, I'm ending the stream. There you go.